Today, we're stepping onto the high seas for a story that's deeply unsettling. It's a true crime narrative, really, about a young woman, Rebecca Coriam, who disappeared from a Disney cruise ship.
And these cases, the ones that happen in international waters, they're notoriously complex.
Exactly. It's this whole web of jurisdiction, corporate interests. It gets murky fast.
Especially on large vessels like cruise ships. Accountability can be, well, elusive.
So our aim here is to walk you through the known details, the different accounts, the investigation, such as it was. We want to lay out what happened or what we know happened and explore those lingering, unanswered questions.
It's about presenting the story, the evidence we have, and letting you draw your own conclusions.
Let's start with Rebecca herself. Rebecca Coriam, born back in March 1987 in Chester, England. She grew up there with her family, including 2 foster brothers.
Pretty normal background, it sounds like.
Yeah, Catholic high school, worked at Chester Zoo for a bit. Interestingly, she joined the British Army when she was just a teenager.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and later studied sports science at university. She even taught sports over in the U.S., at Camp America in Maine for about 4 months. Her big dream, though, was working for Disney Cruise Line. I mean, you can see the appeal, right? Travel, accommodation, income. It's a sought-after gig.
Definitely. Adventure, seeing the world.
She interviewed in London, got hired in June 2010, did her training down in Florida, and started working cruises, mostly to the Bahamas initially. She actually took a 2-month break back home in Britain after her first stint. Then she returned to work, but this time on the Disney Wonder, based out of Los Angeles.
And that desire for adventure, for these kinds of jobs, it often takes young people far from home, far from their usual support networks. That's just something to keep in mind.
A really poignant point, especially given what happened next. While she was working, her grandfather passed away, so she flew back to Chester for 2 weeks for the funeral. That was actually the last time her family saw her in person. She was always good about staying in touch, though. Facebook, Skype, phone calls, very consistent. Then fast forward 6 weeks after she got back to the Wonder. It's March 21st, 2011. The ship's just left LA. She sends her parents a message on Facebook, says she'll call them the next day.
The last message.
The very last. 12 hours go by, no call. Her family starts to get a bit worried. It was unusual for her not to call when she said she would.
That little flag goes up.
Then, 9:00 a.m. Pacific time the next morning, the ship's off the coast of Mexico heading to Cabo San Lucas. Rebecca misses her shift.
Okay, now it's serious.
They check her room. She's not there. They page her over the ship's intercom. No response. She's nowhere to be found. Just gone.
And on a moving ship, every single minute after that discovery is critical. The search area just explodes outwards with time. Finding someone in the open ocean, it's incredibly difficult.
Which brings us to maybe the most crucial piece of evidence we have, security footage. They found one clip of Rebecca timed at 5:45 a.m. that morning.
Okay, what does it show?
It's grainy, dark, a windowless crew area. She's on one of the ship's internal phones. And she looks visibly upset. Distraught, really.
Distraught.
Her parents later pointed out something else, too. She was wearing these baggy clothes, maybe men's clothes, definitely not her usual style. While she's on the phone, a male crew member walks up, asks her if she's okay.
Yeah.
You can see her mouth the words, yeah, fine, still on the phone. Then she hangs up, pulls her hair back, puts her hands in her back pockets, which her parents said was a typical mannerism of hers, and walks out of the camera's view.
Hands in pockets, yeah, fine. Doesn't sound fine.
No. And her parents were adamant she didn't look drunk or unsteady.
Okay, but that timestamp, 5:45 a.m., I thought there were initial reports she might have gone overboard much earlier, like around 3:00 a.m. That's a nearly 3-hour difference.
Exactly. That discrepancy is huge. What was she doing? Who was she talking to on that phone call at 5:45 in the morning, looking so upset?
Right. That discrepancy, it immediately suggests confusion, maybe misinformation, or even, an attempt to shape the story early on. That call, her distress, it points away from a simple accident towards something much more personal, maybe an argument, maybe something worse.
So after she's reported missing, the crew does search the ship. Nothing. The U.S. Coast Guard, the Mexican Navy, they search the waters where they think she might have gone overboard. Again, nothing. No trace of Rebecca.
The vastness of the ocean. It's hard to comprehend.
Now the investigation. Because the Disney Wonder flies the flag of the Bahamas, the official investigation falls to them.
Right, the flag state jurisdiction.
So a detective from the Royal Bahamas Police Force gets assigned. But, and this is unbelievable, he doesn't fly out to meet the ship until 3 days after she disappeared when it docked back in LA.
3 days. That's a lifetime in an investigation like this.
Tell me about it. Rebecca's parents, who'd flown in from England, said he was only on board for 1 day. They claimed he basically asked about 10 people, "Have you seen Rebecca?" and then flew home. They felt completely let down.
That delay is critical. Evidence degrades, memories fade, potential witnesses disperse. And the jurisdiction issue means the primary investigators might have limited resources or authority once the ship moves on. It's a major flaw in the system.
And the family's experience when they arrived in LA just adds another layer of weirdness. They said Disney personnel picked them up, put them in a car with blacked out windows.
Blacked out windows.
Yeah, and then snuck them onto the ship using a side entrance after all the passengers had left. The family felt strongly that Disney was trying to keep the whole thing under wraps, avoid bad press, keep the paying customers happy.
It certainly sounds like managing appearances was a priority. That kind of secrecy often points towards concerns about liability.
Then they meet the ship's captain. His theory: Rebecca was at the crew pool, and a freak wave washed her overboard.
A wave. At the crew pool.
The parents shot that down immediately. They said the wall around the crew pool was really high. It just didn't seem plausible. Later, Disney execs offered condolences, said something like, "Sorry, there were reports she just flew overboard," but refused point blank to release the recording of that 5:45 a.m. phone call.
Despite claiming everything's recorded.
Exactly. No call recording, no other potentially relevant footage, nothing.
That withholding of potential evidence, especially from the family, it's a pattern you sometimes see. Corporations protecting their interests, using the complexities of maritime law, NGAs with crew. It creates a wall.
The family was desperate. They felt stonewalled, so they reached out to a journalist, John Ronson.
Ronson, known for digging into strange stories.
He agreed to help. He actually booked himself onto the same cruise, same route, to try and investigate discreetly from the inside.
That's quite a move. What did he find?
He spoke to crew members, anonymously, of course. People were scared to talk openly. They basically hinted that, more was known than was being let on by Disney or the police. One person even whispered to him, "That's the answer I have to give you," implying they were gagged.
NDA's fear of losing their jobs. It creates a culture of silence.
Ronson initially wondered if maybe she'd fallen from the jogging track on deck 4. It had a low railing, she was sporty.
Plausible, maybe an accidental slip.
But then he found out that track was covered in hidden security cameras. If she'd fallen there, it should have been recorded. But then another crew member told him something different. She went overboard from the crew pool area on deck 5.
Back to the pool theory.
Yeah, this person mentioned a single flip-flop being found near there as proof. And then someone else told Ronson that the day after Rebecca vanished, flowers mysteriously appeared taped to the wall near that pool. No explanation given by the company, just flowers.
So conflicting stories even among the crew. Deck 4, deck 5, the flip-flop, the flowers.
Yeah.
It just deepens the mystery and points to that controlled environment.
And then there's the relationship angle. Another crew member, someone apparently close to Rebecca, told investigators she'd been in a very intense relationship that was causing her a lot of distress.
Okay, emotional turmoil. That might fit with the distraught appearance in the footage.
This person thought that's why Rebecca was up and wandering around at nearly 6 a.m. But then, years later, in 2017, things took another sharp turn. Rebecca's girlfriend at the time, a woman named Tracy, who also worked on the ship, came forward.
Right, I remember this development.
Tracy claimed that the night Rebecca disappeared, the two of them had actually engaged in a threesome with Tracy's boyfriend.
A threesome, okay.
According to Tracy, Rebecca had been really upset for weeks because Tracy was also seeing this guy. Rebecca felt like she was competing for Tracy's attention, fell into a depression, talked about wanting to get off the ship. And Tracy claimed Rebecca had even explicitly said she wanted to jump off the ship because she was so depressed. So Tracy's conclusion was that Rebecca climbed the 6-foot railing on deck 5 and jumped.
That account came very late, didn't it? And it paints Rebecca's actions in a very specific light, almost providing a neat, albeit tragic, explanation. But it feels convenient somehow.
It does. And critically, like you said before, there's still no footage of anyone going overboard from deck 5 or anywhere else. Plus, private investigators hired earlier, back in 2015, found meteorological records showing the sea was calm that night.
Right, completely contradicting the captain's big wave theory. And they pointed out a wave strong enough to wash someone over a high wall would likely have damaged the ship itself. which it didn't.
So here we are, all these years later, theories, rumors, fragments of information, but no definitive answers. No one seems to actually know what happened. Disney hasn't released that phone call recording or any other helpful footage.
The family left chasing shadows.
Exactly, just running in circles, getting nowhere against this huge corporation. The lack of closure is heartbreaking.
And Rebecca's case, tragically, isn't unique. Since the year 2000, something like 313 people have been reported missing from cruise ships. And only about 10% of those cases are ever resolved.
10%? That's staggering.
It is. And cruise lines aren't even legally required to publicize every missing person case. Combine that lack of transparency with the jurisdictional nightmare of international waters. Investigations get delayed, hampered, evidence is lost, people are left vulnerable.
It leaves you wondering, doesn't it? With all these conflicting stories, the missing footage, the corporate silence, what do you think happened to Rebecca Coriam? Was it an accident? Did she jump? Or was there something more sinister, a cover-up? This whole story is just a chilling reminder, really. These places we think of as fun, safe escapes, sometimes they hold dark secrets. For Rebecca's family, it's this permanent void, this agonizing lack of answers.
It really underscores how complex reality can be. Beneath the surface, you often find these tangled webs of conflicting information, corporate silence, human tragedy, making the truth incredibly hard to grasp.
We hope laying out the narrative like this has given you a clearer picture, at least, of Rebecca's story and the questions that still surround it. Before we wrap up, if this deep dive resonated with you, if you appreciate us exploring these kinds of unsettling true stories, please do consider supporting Horror Docs.
Yeah, hit that like button. Maybe share it with someone else who finds these mysteries compelling.
And definitely subscribe to Horror Docs so you don't miss our future narratives. We really appreciate your support. Stay safe out there, keep thinking, and we'll be seeing you again very, very soon. Bye for now.